Welcome back to Dubbzi Bricks for another episode of building Gotham City in Lego. In the last update, we were working on the hangar here for the Penguin's submarine, and this is a structure I want to carry on working on at the start of this update. It'd be nice to get the wall all finished along here, tiled off, ready for the removable roof to go on, and then the iceberg lounge can just slide up against it, but also plate off the back there above the ice section. Now with the wall here, I do want to change it so we've got dark bluish grey instead of the nougat colour there for the uprights. I think I just give it a little bit more character, and also I'd like to make a start on the doors as well. So what that will mean is I'm going to need to get this all tiled off ready. So without further ado, let's get the bricks and plates out and let's get started. And that's the walls all amended on the top of the hangar, and I've made this section here one plate lower, and that's just so I can have a different style of roof just above the doorway. Now on the walls here, I was going to tile this all off all ready for the roof section to go on. However, I'm just going to wait until I've actually built the iceberg lounge in this section here, just in case I decide to come over the top of it. I don't want to just do a lot of building on here and then have to knock it down as I normally have to do so. So what I'm going to turn my attention to now is just tiling off the water section in here. And once I've done that, I can then start work on the doors at the front there. And that's the water all inside the hangar, all tiled off. And as you can see, I put a few platforms down on here. However, I am going to amend both of the wooden ones. So I'm just going to raise them up by a couple of studs, and I may shrink that one just there. And once I've done so, I'm going to tile them off and put some more added details to that. So let's get on and do that part now, and I'll check back in once we've done so. And a little bit of progress has been made here inside the hangar. So I've shrunk the size of the two platforms here. We put the planks here which are on hinges, so we can just lift those up for when the submarine is exiting the hangar. And I started to construct this along here, and this is for the missiles so they can be lowered onto the submarine. However, what I would like to do is have a rack of missiles on this little platform area just here. So I think I'll put another pole going across here and then have something that connects between the two, which will slide along this way, and then within that device will be another mechanism which will allow it to go that way as well. So the missiles can be picked up from here, go along, and then go this way. So that's the plan at the moment. Just need to work out how I'm going to go about doing so. So whilst I think about that, what I'm going to turn my attention to is this area just down here. I'm going to get this all plated off, ready to have all of the tiling effect done to it. It would be quite nice then to start raising that area down there where the Joker Funhouse is. And there we have the majority of the plating all finished off. Just need to get a 1x6 to go in here, a couple to go along the edge there, some 1x2s, and then that'll be it, job done. Now with the tiling of all this, I know I've got nowhere near enough tiles for that. I have picked up a load of cheese wedges. We picked up some pieces when we went to Germany for doing the water effects, but I know for a fact that I'm going to need to get a lot more in. Now, in regards to this area down here where the Joker Funhouse is going to be, I need to work out exactly how far out I'm going to be building this, and then start building the whole wall section up behind there. So I think I might start having a look at that, work out how that's going to be, because it would be nice to get the brickwork all finished down this end. And that's that section all knocked down, ready to be reconstructed to the new height, and going to make it come out this way a little bit. There was a brick wall along here, as you can see, I've taken off in one piece. I'm going to be building this up quite high, so it seemed pointless having loads of bricks here which are just going to be covered over. So these are coming very handy when I'm doing the front wall here, as it's going to be a lot higher than I was originally planning. Before, I was just going to have it 3 bricks high, whereas now I'm thinking about having it 5, maybe 6 higher. I think that would look a lot better. So anyway, let's start rebuilding this section back up. And there we have the raised area all ready for the tiling for where the Joker's Funhouse is going to go. And it's so much quicker using these art plates. A lot less pieces, I think, are involved in using them. It would have been nice if I'd been able to use them on the raised platform area over the back there. However, due to the fact that I may need to get inside of the raised area if there's ever any problems with the trains, I thought it was better to have a mills plate that's removable off of the top of it. But at least this area here would be able to do it. And I think going further back when we start doing the area for the Arkham Asylum, I will do the same. Use more of these art plates just to save on the pieces and make it nice and sturdy. And there we have the mechanism all in place that will be for loading missiles and torpedoes onto the submarine. So this just slides along the axle along here, and then this part just goes along like so. Now that means that it can pretty much go anywhere within this square for loading and unloading. Now with the part here, I will have some chains coming down from it that will have a missile hanging from there. However, I need to get the parts to make the missiles and torpedoes. I don't actually have the pieces I need for doing that at the time being. Now what I'm going to be doing next is just making a rack to go on the platform down the bottom there, and then that's where all of the missiles will be housed. Now I do need to work out how they get the missiles and torpedoes into the actual warehouse itself. It may be that they just deliver them by boat through the door. That's probably going to be the easiest thing. I was contemplating putting some doors on the top here. However, I was then thinking, how would you then lower them down onto the rack? So yeah, just need to make my mind up as to what I think is going to look best. But we can easily amend that wall should we decide to go down that route further down the line. And there we have the missile rack all in place. And the more I think about it, the more I think it does need a door of some description on this section just here. So what I'm going to do is take the wall apart just there. So between these two pillars, that's where the doorway is going to be. I'm going to build a ledge out onto here and then raise this whole crane section up by about 4 or 5 bricks. That way the crane can go along, pick the missiles up or torpedoes up from the ledge and then take them and then drop them off at the rack there. What that will mean is the brickwork around the edge here is going to need to be raised up by the same amount of bricks, but I don't think that's a problem. I think it'll look quite good having it that a little bit taller. At the moment, if you're looking from that side, it is a little bit low. And also I think it'd be nice to have those windows up a little bit higher as well. So let's make those amendments and I'll check back in once we've done them. And that's the submarine hangar all amended and much happier with the look of it now. It's gone up by, I think it's 3, maybe 4 bricks in height. So this whole section here is a lot higher. And I've built the support struts here into the wall to give it that little bit extra stability. Now on the other side here, the axles do stick out by, I think it's 4 studs. So I do need to work out some sort of design to come on the end of that, just to give it a finishing touch rather than just have the axles looking there. I'm sure there'll be something I can put on which will give it that nice finishing touch. And I much prefer the look of the warehouse or the hangar with the doors on the front there. Now these doors, they open inwards, and it did mean that I had to move the missile rack, which is just down there, over by 2 studs. as the hinges were just hitting the very top of it. But yeah, there it is. There's obviously still a lot more details that need to go into it, like a generator for creating the snow at the back there. We need to build some penguins and put a couple of other machinery-like parts in there, as well as the missiles themselves. Need to find out a door to go on the front of the build there as well. And then we can start working out what we're going to be doing with the top. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the first thing I need to do is work out how I'm going to make the iceberg lounge look that's going to be going in front of it. Anyway, that's all we have time for. I hope you've enjoyed the update. If you have, please remember to give us a big thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content on the channel. And if you know anybody else you think would be interested in building Gotham City in Lego, if you could share the channel with them, it'd be much appreciated. Hey, thanks for hopping on by, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.